Who doesn't love a green day? How good's this, eh? Finally, it's great to see. We're seeing a lovely green day. Bitcoin's topped 100. Welcome to the show. It's days like this, everyone's happy, right? We've got Bitcoin topped up over 100K, which is great to see. Finally, we're seeing the altcoins run along with that, which is also awesome to see. We're seeing some really big moves in the not just the top 100, but across the board. But we're seeing some big moves in the top 100. Some of the moves aren't as big, but still it's green, which is awesome to see. We're also seeing, a bit more movement in the state Bitcoin reserves. So we can see here with the state Bitcoin reserve race, where we are. Arizona, we spoke about the other day. They had their bill vetoed by the governor. However, since then they have had another bill which has been enacted, which is HB 2749. That relates to the unclaimed property virtual currency. It's stuff like, Treasury will hold airdrops, staking rewards, interest from digital assets, things like that. It's not actually them investing their treasury into Bitcoin, but it's a step in the right direction, right? They had about 4 bills, I think, that were going forward. We have had that one that was vetoed. We then have Texas. So Texas also, they're up to just before enactment. And we can see that here. Texas moves ahead with the Bitcoin Reserve Bill. So Senate Bill 21. It's the proposal to create the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. So the bill already cleared the Senate. Only the full House vote now stands between Texas becoming the first state to officially establish Bitcoin Reserve, managed by the state comptroller. So lots of good news there. Lots of good regulatory news coming about as well. So all these things are helping drive this crypto cycle, right? It's helping drive, the ETFs, the regulatory changes, the SEC changes, the states getting on board, upgrades to a lot of the projects that are being delivered. It's all just quite positive news, as I've said previously. But the question then might be for some is, where are we in this cycle? Some of you will be familiar with the Wall Street cheat sheet, maybe not all, but this is basically a full cycle and the emotions and everything that go along with that cycle. So you can see, you start with hope, you have optimism, belief, the thrill into euphoria, which is the top. You get complacency, anxiety, etc., down to anger, depression. And if you've been through the last cycle, you can probably pinpoint each of these and go, yep, I remember that feeling. Here we have Ash Crypto, who's it's under Ash Crypto Real on X. He posted this saying where he feels we are in the cycle. You should follow him. He's actually a good follow on X. But he's saying, we're around here. We're getting into the optimism stage before the belief and the thrill and the euphoria. Now, remember, this doesn't have to follow the exact path that we can see. It could come, around here and still go out. So this is another reason why I don't base decisions on price. I base them on indicators. But, this is sort of an idea, well, one person's idea of where we could be in the cycle. No one knows 100%. Some people say, we're going to hit this euphoria stage in, Q4. Some people say Q3 of this year. Some say Q1, Q2 of next year. So there is a 12-month period in itself that you have different people on X or YouTube saying where they think the top of the cycle is going to be. So no one knows, is basically what I'm saying. Keep an eye on indicators. Do your own research. If you feel you've made money that can help you or change your life or anything like that, take the money. But, just keep an eye on all of these things. Keep an eye on the market. Don't get complacent. And we are having a good day, but if you've been here long enough, you know that good days can turn bad very, very quickly. Okay, so, you've got trending coins like SWE here. You've got virtuals, which has been around for the last few weeks up in the trending. You've got Moodang as a top gainer. Again, the Hippo meme. But we can see, Bitcoin still, as I said, it's at 102.5. It's up 3.4%, but the important thing is it's broken that 100K barrier. Can it hold it? That's going to be important to see. Ethereum's at 16.1% up, 19.6 on the week. Now, that's not all going to be driven by the Petra upgrade. Probably contributes to it slightly, but the fact the whole market is running as well is just really good news. The fact that we're now seeing Ethereum up at, 2,200 is good news for those Ethereum holders that have been holding all through this. But again, we just need to be careful. We need to see this hold as we move through the next week. You know, XRP's up, Solana's up. I mean, everything's up in the green. Some of them, you know, at the moment you're seeing 7.3 for Cardano, 6.8 for Solana. You're going, they're great moves, which they are. But then you're seeing things like Lido at 16%, you know, Chainlink's at 8. You got a wrapped ETH. I mean, they're going to run with it, ETH. So Hyperliquid, which we've talked about over the last month, that's, you know, 10% up. What else we got here? You've got, look at PEPE, like 22.5% in the 24 hours. So, you know, when it's not just the altcoins, you're seeing some meme movement as well. NIR's at 14. You know, you got Trump at nearly 18% there. KASPA's probably a bit disappointing, to be honest, you know, after moving from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second. I mean, we're not seeing a lot of talk about it either. And you really need influencers to talk about these projects. And when they do things like that, but we haven't seen a lot of talk about it. I think maybe we'll get more of that when the smart contracts come on board, which will help it move more. So could still be a bit of a sleeper. VeChain, 10%. You got Athena at 14. So look across the board, and some you're getting bigger moves than others, obviously. Like Virtual's at 34%. That's huge. Absolutely huge. And the green wasn't just the top 100. If I come back here again, you can see the 1 to 200, plenty of green. You got Peanut, 2 to 3, and we can go on and on through these, and it's just green all the way down. I mean, and Alpaca had a big run lately, but there's so much green in the market. So are we starting that altcoin run? Not sure, but the signs are there. Everything's aligning. The macro indicators are aligning. You've got the Bitcoin breaking that 100. So if it can just hold that, then we need to start to watch things like liquidity coming into the market. Watch the Bitcoin dominance, because really for an altcoin run, we really need to see that dominance start to come down. We need to see that volume lifting. We also need to keep an eye on the exchange volume that's happening. Keep an eye on the stable coins as well, because you're going to have a lot of money sitting in stable coins at the moment as a total, right? You need to keep an eye on, does that number start to come down while the total market cap doesn't, because then we can start to see some of those stables go into some of the altcoins. So that's going to be something we need to be keeping an eye on as well. And then the other thing we want to keep an eye on are, you know, the key indicators. So if we look at here at our key indicator report, we can see the fear and greed is up. It's up at 73. Now, what you do want to be careful of is that doesn't go too fast, because you can really see a pullback with that if it does. You got dominance down slightly. We probably need to see more of that, but I'm not sure that's where it's going to go in the shorter term. But that's a key one we need to keep an eye on to indicate that altcoin season. Market cap, we're at 3.3 trillion. We're at 184.2 billion in volume. We can see those monthly returns are at 6.24, so that's positive to see as well. As we know, we've got plenty of green in the market. Pi cycle tops down slightly, but it was 0.58, it's down to 0.57. So again, not too concerned about that, but we do want to see that moving up, obviously, as one of our top indicators, but we don't want to see that happening too quickly either. So we want to see that over, you know, the coming months. The remainder of the key indicators we're watching are green. Again, not massive moves, not shooting the lights out, but also good to see they are moving in the right direction. We need to sustain that though. And we've still got net inflows of 48 million for the Bitcoin ETF. So really, it's actually looking quite good for the market. We've got Bitcoin over 100K. Keep an eye on that Bitcoin dominance, right? We've got the altcoins moving. We've got positive news in regulation. We've got positive state news, so we need to keep that going as well. But regulation in general is quite positive. So that's going to be really, really important. Some other things to keep an eye out for and think about though are, you know, what could slow the market or that. You've still got Mt. Gox tokens being released. I think that was pushed back now for the final ones to be done by October of this year. So you got things like that to watch. You need to watch liquidity. You know, Fed rates are going to be important, and we know they're on hold. So what's going to happen with Fed rates over the coming months and quarters? So that'll be a driving factor for us to pay attention to. So there's still and just broader macroeconomic cycle, right? So there's still quite a few pieces of the puzzle that we need to keep an eye on, that we need to fall into place. But overall, you know, this could be the turning we've been waiting for. So, you know, I'm positive about it, but there's still a bit we've got to wait and see to make sure that we've got that confidence that, yeah, the bull run's here or it's at least on its way. But look, again, if you got value out of this video, please hit the like button, smash that subscribe, click the bell notification so you get notified anytime I release a video, and I'll see you in the next one.